Right.
Take it in, but don't look down.
To you, but I'll just leave it there so that just share it.
I'm trying to cut these corners, never take the easy way. I'm trying to find something. I could be there, but it couldn't tell. I'm trying to know this way, something. Take it in, but don't look down.
All right, we have a Julia.
All is really good.
Julia, this is Karen.
Hi.
Hello, lovely Julia. How are you?
I'm alright.
Nice to meet you. You get front row seat. Yeah, you got front row seat. I warned Julia that it would be all of us. It's massive streaming live. The rest of the team are on.
Okay, I have your.
Oh,
I think it's yours?
yes, it is. Thank you. Cool. Tennille can see my fabulous dance moves. So we can do the cooking bit and then we'll finish with the thing and then we'll do some other bits. Sing other bits. Have a seat, Julia.
Well, Julie, no, we've known each other for years.
Very good.
Like old friends.
All right.
Oh, we can't see the people this time.
No, not this time.
No, but Tennille can see us.
And-
Oh, right.
but-
Okay.
But hopefully the streaming tonight,
Tennille says that the picture quality is amazing
yes it is.
and she can see my fabulous dance moves and really that's all that matters. Bye, Tennille! Okay, welcome everybody to, what are we up to? July.
July.
Oh my goodness. To July's team meeting. I'm Karen, as you all know, this is wonderful Wilma.
Hello.
And in the background we have the fabulous Julia, who's at her very first team meeting. Julia's here, give a wave.
Great.
And everybody's texting me. No, Tennille, I can't see you or hear you. So you could be there in your jammies or naked, but I can't see you or hear you. You just keep drinking your wine. Okay, so hopefully you all have your ingredients, your kit, and the recipes that we sent you. And I don't know if anybody's tried these out, but they're really, really, really easy. They're both, I'm going to say really ricey. I know that's probably not great grammar, but they're quite new. The chocolate rice pudding is a recipe that is in your pressure cooker book. So all of your customers that you've either emailed that link to or have been sent that from Toolbox will have that recipe. And as Wilma rightly pointed out to me the other day, it's another really good dessert to show people in your pressure cooker. So I know that the golden syrup dumplings is an absolute winner because that's 4 minutes. This is another one. It's like chocolate risotto. So if you've made the risotto, you know what a big wow factor that is. This is like a dessert risotto. So this is
chocolate.
Correct.
That is my language.
And it's got a heap of chocolate in it, so you'll love that. So this is a really, really good good recipe to do. And Sunil says hello to everybody that's here. So this is a really good recipe to do. But so having said that, we're doing Asian-inspired sauté pan chicken and rice and chocolate rice puddings. I would not do them both together as a menu at a party, at a masterclass, because they're both very dense rice dishes, and you're going to be serving people rice
And
followed
more
by
rice.
more rice. And I think it's just too dense. When I was playing around with this recipe, I served this up to my family for dinner and then gave them the chocolate rice puddings for dessert. And even though they loved both of them, it was like, we're having rice again, now we're having rice for dessert. Yeah, it's just a bit too ricey. And if you've read your recipe, you'll see that both of them have chili in it. And you might think chocolate and chili. Chili actually enhances the flavour of chocolate. It's quite unique, but I'm not using chili at all today. Because when I did the shopping today, when I finally found chili, it was very expensive. So you can leave it out, it's fine.
And I don't eat chili, so there would be no taste testers.
Well, no, we've got Julia.
Yes. But you're not a big chili person, are you, Julia?
Not really. It does go well with chocolate.
It does go very well with chocolate. And the other thing that I could not find, and I went to 3 places today, was broccolini. And I don't know whether it's the weather at the moment, but broccolini cannot find for love and money apparently. So I'm doing broccoli. And I've done that before. I've also put carrots in this recipe. That works really well. And but we're doing broccoli instead of broccolini, and that works quite fine. So so that's all very good. So this is really, really easy, and they're both one-pot wonders. Okay, so we're going to start off with, I've got my reader here. And so what are we going to do first?
That means I'm the cleverest person in the room. Sorry,
Correct.
Julia.
So, as you know, these are my 2 favourite dishes. I love everything in a range, but these are the 2 dishes. If you can encourage people when they book a party with you, I'll just turn my rock and roll off, to use your sauté pan, aka your husband, and your pressure cooker, aka this known as your boyfriend. Yes. You've got to take your husband and your boyfriend to every party. Everybody needs at least one of each. You've got to buy them together, otherwise the husband gets jealous of the boyfriend and the boyfriend gets jealous of the husband, right? If you can encourage hosts to have a masterclass using both of these, they both cost $229 or $289 as a bundle and $299 as a bundle. There you go, that's a really good sale. Okay, so that's what we want to. That's what we want to use at least every party. Okay, so what are we going to do first?
What we're going to do first is we're going to place the stock. So we want 4 cups of chicken stock.
Yes.
We're going to put them in the sauté pan over high heat.
Now, when I talk about chicken stock or stock, I always say to people, keep one of those boxes of stock
In your
in your pantry, and then you can make just about any of our recipes. Because it's a litre of that, and you can use whatever you like.
And they're UHT packed, so they keep forever and a day.
Yeah. Once they're opened, they'll keep for a week in the fridge, or if you're smart, decant them into your freezer trays, and then pop them out into another container.
Or into your mini muffin pan.
Oh yes, into your mini muffin pan, or even into your big muffin pan.
I'm the smartest person in the room.
Yes. And then they'll just completely pop right out. And then you can pop them into an airtight container. Or you can tell people that that's one of the other reasons why they need to have a pressure cooker, because this is also a 7-litre pot, and they can make their own chicken stock. Because there are freaks in the world that are sometimes called Karen, and they can't have stock out of a Tetra Pak, or out of a UHT pack. So
You need to get the cable off the pan. Seal it there. We
Okay.
Set
fire to
dangerous.
house.
Could have exploded.
That's okay. Thank you.
Farm to Neil.
There you go.
Could have exploded online.
So you can make your own chicken stock. It doesn't matter what stock you use, but if people come to you, this is homemade chicken stock. If people come to you with those powdered stock cubes, just tell them that they're fine, you can use them, but they are a lot saltier than stock that you'll buy that's already liquefied. Okay, so you need to adjust the salt content of anything else that you're using. So this is how what else is
A
going on?
tablespoon of grated ginger.
Yes. Okay, so here's some I prepared earlier.
5 cloves of finely sliced garlic.
Now,
5 cloves.
it does sound like a lot of
It
garlic.
sounds like a lot.
However, this is, you've got to remember this is an Asian-inspired dish. And Asians love to spice up their food. And this is something else. When somebody comes to you at a masterclass and hands you a garlic press, take it off them and say, very nicely, try my knife. Because garlic presses, and I never knew them, I never knew this, no, you actually need a fusion knife.
A fusion knife for garlic. Okay,
Yeah.
I've learned something new.
Because,
That one.
yeah, because you want to be selling a fusion knife and this with your saute pan.
I see.
Now, the reason that you chop garlic instead of press it is because what happens when you press garlic? What happens to it?
All the juices come out.
All the juices and all the oils come out. And where do they stay? On our beautiful chopping board. Now, unless you're going to get your tongue out and lick it all up, it will serve you absolutely no purpose. Alright? So what you want to do is chop your garlic because then all the juice stays in your garlic. And it doesn't actually release until you put it in your food. That's why you chop garlic. And for about 14 years, I sold garlic presses and never knew that.
I didn't know that either because I sold garlic presses for a very long time.
Okay, so in goes your garlic.
Yep, and if you were having chilli, you would put in a long red chilli finely sliced. But we're not having it. It says optional, so you don't need to.
Correct.
And we're going to bring that to the boil in the saute pan.
Beautiful. So I'm just turning this up a bit.
So that's going to do its thing.
So that doesn't take very long. And you can already smell the ginger and the garlic
You can.
getting happy together. Alright, so this is when people say, oh, so you can use your saute pan on high heat. So you can, just not for long periods of time. So you'll see.
And you don't need to for long periods of time. My son was using our fry pan this morning, 19 years old, thick as a brick, because he's a boy. I mean, he's a
The
19-year-old boy.
sun, not
Yeah, the
fry
son,
pan.
not the fry pan. And he was cooking bacon and eggs in the fry pan this morning, and he had it on 3 on our electric stove. And even that was, he said it was too hot. It was just too hot. He had to turn it down because there was everything spluttering everywhere. And before that, I'd actually said, don't put it on high, just on medium. So you don't need to put it on high because it's just way too hot.
Yeah. So while this is happening, this is where you can be talking about all of our products go gas, electric, ceramic, induction, and into the oven. There are 2 exceptions to that rule. The boyfriend does not go into the oven because it has plastic handles. Okay, and he's a bit fragile that way. And the griddle pan, because he has a ripply bottom, cannot go on induction. And people say to me, oh, so why didn't they build that to go on induction? And if you have a look at all of our pots, they all have stainless steel on the bottom, and the stainless steel is the conductor for the induction cooktops. And if they tried to put stainless steel on a ripply bottom, the cost of the griddle pan would go ka-choink, and nobody would be able to afford to buy it. So that's why he doesn't go on induction. Okay, so we're now boiling. So what was
Okay, so we're going to add 1.5 cups of jasmine rice.
1.5 cups of jasmine rice.
Now, question for you, Karen.
Yes.
If you don't have jasmine rice and you just have a regular rice, is that okay?
Yes, and that's a really good question, and that's why I throw really good imaginary lollies. You're a really bad catch.
I missed it.
And you missed again. That's much better. Okay. Yes, and all of our recipes are designed so that you can look at them and go, well, I don't have that, but I've got this. Can I substitute that? Absolutely. So it's like the risotto recipe. I've had people say, I don't like chicken and I don't like mushrooms, and the risotto recipe says chicken and mushroom risotto. That's fine. We'll make pork and pumpkin. Does that float your boat? And they go, oh, yeah, can we do that? Absolutely. It's called substitute.
So theoretically, you could put less ginger or no ginger in if you didn't like ginger.
Well, I'm a freak and I'm allergic to ginger and garlic. So when I make this for my family, that doesn't go in at all.
Right.
And neither does the soy sauce. So I've made this with broccoli and carrots.
Cool.
And I've just put the soy sauce on the table afterwards for the people in my family who are not freaks. And they add it afterwards. Okay, what's going on?
When the stock has come to the boil,
Yeah.
it has come to the boil, add the chicken around the pan on top of the rice, which is immersed in stock. So we've got 4 chicken thigh fillets cut into thick strips.
Yes, just like this. So you don't need to be very fussy with this at all. And 4 chicken thighs doesn't sound like a lot, but man, it cuts up to a
That's
lot.
a fair amount of chicken. Now, question for you, Karen. What we're going to use?
Yes.
Because I know all these other people out there are you know, dying to ask all these questions.
Right.
So I'm sort of like, my ESP is on.
Mm-hmm.
And once that's in, we're going to place the lid on, vents closed,
Yes.
and reduce it to the lowest heat and cook it for 15 minutes.
Right. So that's it. The chicken's in now.
That's
Right.
it. Chicken's in. We're going to put the lid on. We're going to close the vent, so we're going to make it like a little
So
oven.
now here's an oven.
Here's an oven. And we're going to set the timer for 15 minutes.
We're going to turn it down.
We are. We're going to turn it down to the lowest heat. Because they're only little bits of chicken, so we don't want to cook them till there's nothing left.
And this is where we can talk about our fabulous timer. How long would you like this on for?
15 minutes, please.
Beautiful. Yep. And so what were you going to ask?
So my question was, we're doing some lovely cooking here, and you've got lots of things that you've prepared earlier.
Yes.
So my question is, at a real master class,
Yes.
how much would you prepare earlier?
Mm-hmm.
And there's part of me that's saying, well, you don't want me chopping the garlic, but I would like my guests to be doing a bit of chopping and playing with the knife. So how much do you prepare earlier?
Yes.
And how much do you leave to do when you're actually during the master class?
That's a good question. You probably should have a lolly for that. Thank you. Okay. So we always get to a masterclass half an hour before. So some of it I would do with the host. I do a lot of preparation with the host. So because often the host is next to me in the kitchen, and I don't know about you, but my host always says, what would you like me to do?
Yep.
And so I say, okay, what's your favourite knife? And I go, I don't know, I don't have any knives. Excellent, that's the magic answer that I like. Okay, so this is my favourite knife, and I give her the fusion knife. No matter what is your favourite knife is now the fusion wave knife. Because it costs $99 and doesn't come in the set. So they have to buy that knife separately. Even if they get the knife block set for $75, they have to then buy the fusion wave knife because it doesn't come in the kit, in the set.
Or they can buy it in a bundle.
Correct. However it comes, they cannot get it as their $75 host gift. So I give the host the knife, and I might say, okay, I would like you to chop the chicken, because the chicken is a really good test for the host to chop. And the first thing that I always do is stand there and show how the knife sharpener works, and I'll sharpen the knife. And then I'll say, you know, this knife sharpener will sharpen any knife that you already have, blah, blah, blah. So I'll get her to chop the chicken. I might leave things like the garlic for the guests to do. If there's ever any zesting to do, you know, sometimes we have to zest a lemon or zest an orange. Always wait till I've got a room full of guests to do that, because that's when I get to use this baby. because it looks like a peeler.
Yeah.
And everybody says,
Well,
well,
we did yours, didn't we? Your launch party with the peeler.
did you zest something?
against that.
I'm sure we did.
Because when the recipe calls for zesting, everybody goes for their grater. Now, the problem with grating for zest is that you'll grate the pith, right, which is the white bit, which is bitter. With using this particular peeler, which has been designed much heavier than any other kind of peeler, when you peel a lemon or an orange, you're only going to get the actual peel and it leaves the pith. So I always do that in front of a room full of people and they go, oh my goodness. Now it only costs $18, but this is what I call, would you like fries with that on your order? Because they've already decided that they're going to buy a pressure cooker bundle and then they add $18 to that. If I can get 10 people to add $18 to their order in a room, that's $180 that I didn't have otherwise. And that's only because I showed them how to peel a lemon. And that will be Nana in the room who wasn't going to buy anything that buys a peeler. And that's the only time I talk about a peeler, and that will be at the same time that I talk about a potato masher. I don't spend any more time than peeling a lemon at the same time that I talk about a potato masher, because this costs $18 and this costs $20, and I'd much rather talk for 10 minutes about this, and I spend no time talking about these, but I'll get Nana to add these to her order, and she wasn't going to spend any money at all. All right, so that's you know, an extra $200, an extra $180 that I would never have had. So does that answer your question?
It does.
All right, so we've now got main course happening quite lovely over here. So now we're going to start on dessert, because speaking of Nanas, my Nana always said you never have main course without dessert ever. It's like a rule. So then I would move from the husband to talk about why you then have to have a raging affair with the boyfriend. We've all done
fast.
That's exactly right. Fast and furious. We've all done lots of product knowledge on the boyfriend, but I don't talk about the boyfriend on his own. I always talk about why you need to have him with a set of tools and a glass lid. Because you don't just buy this on its own, because you'll come back to me at the next party and say, I really wish I had bought the glass lid and the set of tools. And I say to everybody, there's no toolbox Nazi. You can use whatever tools you like in our products. Nobody's going to tell you off, but plastic, metal and wood will scratch them. It won't impair the use of the product. They will still be, it won't impair their stickability, but it won't make them look nice because it'll scratch them. The silicone utensils, that pot of silicone utensils will last and last and last and last and will not scratch the toolbox products. You can choose to buy them on their own. They cost $79. But if you buy the boyfriend, you can get that and the glass lid. The boyfriend on its own costs $229. But you can put that and that together with it for $299 and save yourself $104. And everybody immediately goes from the second column over to the first column and put marks down in the red box.
And the cool thing about this is if you've got people who are just starting off in Toolbox and starting off their collection, I tell them you can use this in your manky pots at home as well. You don't just have to use them in Toolbox, so you can get rid of the horrible things you've got, and you can use this in all your pots. They won't, jump up and down.
All right, so what are we putting in the boyfriend?
We're putting in there 6 cups of milk.
Beautiful. 6 cups of milk.
Now, I'm assuming if you're a weird person, you could use soy milk or low-fat milk.
This is lactose-free milk because we don't have real milk.
There are 50,000 different sorts of milk now. So
any milk you
really
like, it doesn't make a difference.
Okay. 50 grams of butter.
And of course, I have already measured this, but I would measure this and talk about the scales. Yes, you're absolutely right, Julia.
Because the scales are how much?
99.
$99
Yeah.
scales, and so they're worth
Yeah.
spending a few minutes talking about.
Yeah.
And I sell lots of them when I talk about them.
And I talk about them in a bundle because the scales and these two bowls come in a bundle with a whole bunch of other stuff. And just the scales and the two bowls on their own come up to almost the same price as the bundle. And as a bonus, you get everything else in the bundle. Okay, so I would never actually pre-measure butter, but I just did it today because it makes it faster for us. Okay, butter.
A teaspoon of vanilla extract.
I love this. This is vanilla bean paste. We're going to be twice on Sunday.
Oh, cool.
I'm
Excellent.
taking Wilma on a big adventure on Sunday. Wilma's never
going
been to
to
Costco. I'm taking Wilma to
So
Costco.
Karen's taking me to Costco on Sunday.
So that's where I buy this from. But I tell everybody, don't buy imitation vanilla essence because it is what it says it is, imitation. Not real. Okay, so buy vanilla extract or vanilla bean paste is the best. This actually has
It actually does
the contents of 60 vanilla beans in here, so you accurately measure 1 teaspoon.
Sugar, 1/3 of a cup of caster sugar.
And I would never measure this before a party because then you don't get to talk about.
These cool babes.
And I always say, so these come flat, so they don't take up any room in your second kitchen drawer. And we also do measuring spoons the same way. And the reason that they can be flat. No, I stand there and say, so that when you're feeling particularly aggro, you can stand in your kitchen and punch them in and out, and it saves you doing that to your children, because this is legal, and doing this to your children's face is not. Alright, so it works much better. Okay, so we want 1/3 of a cup, is that what the recipe said?
1/3 of a cup. We had a competition doing that at Julia's first party, didn't we? Everybody's trying to flip out.
I still can't do it.
Don't worry, Wilma's just weird. 1/3 of a cup. Yep, what's next?
We booked 3 parties, we did good. If you're adding chilli, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground chilli.
Okay, so we're not.
And that's it.
Okay, so we're just
So
going to
we're
combine
going
that together.
to, combine that all together. Stir, well, it says stir.
Yep.
Place the pressure cooker on the hot plate. I see you didn't read, you're on the hot plate already.
Oh, it's not my job to read.
Well, did I tell you to put it on
appointed
the
you.
hot plate? Did I tell you to put it on the hot plate? No. Place pressure cooker on hot plate. Close and lock and bring to pressure on high heat on setting
Should I have
number.
rice in here?
Oh, rice. Absolutely. Oh, see, the rice is up there. 1.5 cups of Arborio rice. Oh, I'm going to hear about this all week now.
Right.
You run around Costco on Sunday.
Arborio rice. Now there is a difference between Arborio rice and regular rice.
So,
I just want a 1/2 cup for this.
1/2 cup. There we go.
Okay. So make sure that you get your hosts to give you Arborio rice because jasmine rice or regular rice won't cut it. It wouldn't have been very good chocolate rice with no rice.
So it would be interesting.
Beautiful. 1.5 cups.
All right, 1.5 cups. And we are going to lock, we're going to stir it. Make sure it's on setting 2, and we're going to lock and load.
Easy. So this is again another classic of everything in one
Everything
pot.
in one pot. Just whack it all in. Keyword there is all in.
Always start your pressure cooker on high. This is where I tell everybody about the locking system of the pressure cooker because I do get people who ring me up and say, Karen, my pressure cooker's doing this and hold their phone over the steam. And I'm like, take your phone away from the steam. But some people have rung me and said, my little button is not coming up and it's been cooking for 30 minutes. What am I doing wrong? First thing I say to them is, have you locked the lid? Oh, no, I forgot to do that.
From personal experience, if you do not lock your lid, it will not come to
It
pressure.
can never come to pressure ever, no matter how long it's on there for.
And I waited for a long time until I figured out that's what I'd done.
So we've locked that. How have we locked that? Now I need to wait for it to come to pressure.
Yeah, once that's pressure. Are we on heat setting number 2?
Always.
Excellent.
All right, so we've got 2 minutes to go for our chicken, which is easy peasy.
Okay, so you might want to talk about the timer for 2 minutes.
Right, so
because the timer's very cool. I've sold lots of timers to people because they're brilliant.
So this is our digital timer, but it's also a digital thermometer. So we have magnets on the back, so this can stick onto your fridge or alternatively onto your oven. This is a stainless steel probe. So you can either take it out if you're just using it as a timer, but it stays in here because obviously this is stainless steel, so it doesn't melt. And when you are cooking meat in the oven, you take this little protective cap off. This slides into the centre of your meat, and then the other thing that you can do is talk about this at the same time, because this has heat timing for your meat. So for example, a butt of beef needs to be cooked at 65 degrees in order for it to be cooked all the way through. So what you would do, currently it says off up here, you program this part to say 65 degrees. This goes into your butt of beef, stays in there, this stays on your oven, and then when your beef comes to 65 degrees, this will go off, same loud noise as it's going to do in 39 seconds, and then your butt of beef is cooked perfectly all the way through. You don't need to keep opening and closing your oven door and giving your beef acupuncture to see if it's cooked all the way through. So it just stays in there. So, and it works, you know, on whatever oven you have, but this is a really good timer as well because it doesn't actually turn off until you turn it off. So unlike just setting your microwave, timer on your microwave, it makes that horrible noise until you actually turn it off. And the other thing that it does is you can see how it's got little numbers that are now counting up. So it tells you how long it's been going off for. So if you're outside and you're washing on the line and it's doing that and you come inside, oh no, it's been going off for 5 minutes, you know that your cake's been there for 5 minutes. So that's our chicken. So now do I turn it off?
All right. No, you're going to remove your lid.
Right.
And you're going to top the
While we
chicken.
have these.
Oh, no, they're what I call them anyway. I call them condoms because they keep you safe when things get hot. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we've taken the lid off and we're going to top the chicken with rice and broccoli.
No, not with rice. The rice is already in there. I think it means soy sauce.
Oh no, top the chicken and rice with broccolini, so I can't even read today. Fairly.
Right, so this is our broccoli.
The broccolini or broccoli or the carrots or whatever you have in
So
there.
what I did was cut broccoli thin like this, and I also am using the stalks because broccoli stalks have heaps of flavour. Have you eaten just a raw broccoli stalk before?
No, actually.
It's really yummy. So these are
Wait, you
peel.
got that, John.
I'm going to give you one too.
I'm not going to eat it either.
Yes, you
No,
are.
I'm not.
There.
I'll eat a cooked one.
No, you can eat that.
I'll eat a cooked one.
They're really good. So, am I putting the soy sauce in too?
Yes, you're going to drizzle the soy sauce, which is 1/3 of a cup of soy sauce.
Doesn't it taste just like a green carrot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can drizzle 1/3 of a cup of soy sauce evenly over the dish. We are going to close the lid now and cook for a further 5 minutes. So we can put our little doobie on.
It smells pretty good.
For
You got to reset it.
reset.
Start. Very good.
So the other thing that this is really cool for, because you can take it anywhere, it's not part of your microwave, this is great for using in the bathroom if you've got small people who are learning to, say, brush their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You can set the timer for 2 minutes and say you keep brushing your teeth until the beeper goes off. Kids get that. It's very easy.
Teenagers who need to have 3-minute showers.
Your teenagers who need to have 3-minute showers. Time out for kids. Got small children, you want to do a time out in another room or on a chair or a corner, whatever you do.
Now, can I just tell you something? Because I get customers who get very concerned about this. Can you see how there's condensation? I don't know if you can see this, but there's slight condensation. Our buttons just come up here. So I'm just going to turn them down a bit. There's condensation just dripping here. You get like 1 drip every second. Totally normal. Supposed to happen.
Don't worry about it.
I have people who ring me, photograph this on their phone, put it up on Facebook. No, it's fine. It's meant to happen. The other thing that will happen is that we get steam coming out of here. Okay, totally meant to happen. So we need 8 minutes on here, right?
Yes.
We need 2 times. Okay, so that's totally meant to happen. If ever your little red button does not pop up, all you need to do is unlock the lid, run your lid, run hot water through this part and underneath, because sometimes he just gets stuck and needs to be loosened, especially if you've cooked lots of starchy things in there. Okay, so that just needs to be loosened. You'll also see that there's a nut directly underneath there. Just give it a bit of a wobble, okay, or a bit of a twist. It just loosens up this really, really nicely. Okay, so we'll have 8 minutes on him, 2 minutes on him, 3 minutes on him, and then we're done.
Yep.
So really, really easy recipe, and then it's all good.
It's all good, yep. And so you can use the rest of your time, because really all we're going to do is when our saute pan beeps, our Asian inspired chicken, we're going to remove that and allow it to sit for 5 minutes.
And we're going to put some coriander on it.
And yeah, after it sits for 5 minutes.
Yes.
I put a few things on it.
Yes.
It's difficult to work.
Do you want to do some product knowledge over there? Oh, no, the other thing is, this is why one of the things that I have here is you need to tell all of your customers about the E-Pressure Cooker book. And I downloaded it onto my iPad so that, and this is, I take this along to all of my masterclasses, and I say to them, as soon as they become a pressure cooker customer, this gets emailed to them. And they love it. They go, oh my God, that's so cool. But, so I say to them, you can download this onto your big computer. It's a link. You can download it onto your iPad, but best of all, put it on your smartphone. Because you might think, oh, okay, I've got, you can also print it out and make it into a book and have all the recipes that way. But you might think, okay, I really like that risotto recipe, okay? So you might think, well, I'm going to print off the ingredients for the risotto, and I'm going to go to the shops today and buy the ingredients to make that. So all good intentions, and what you do is you leave the ingredients, the recipe, on your kitchen bench. You go out the door to the shops, or you park the car at the shops, and you leave the recipe on the front passenger seat and in the supermarket to go. But you never, never, ever leave your phone anywhere, do you? You always have it. So it's really, really good to have this on your phone, because you can be in the supermarket and think, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? I know, I'll just go through here and have a look. Because this has everything that you need to know about your pressure cooker. There are 24 recipes in here. The risotto is the first one because it was always the most popular one. But there are 24 recipes in here. There's also hints and tips about your pressure cooker. And so when I do this, I scroll through it a bit and then I pass it around to everybody at the party. So it's good because it's big, so even Nana can read it. And they pass it around like this, and then they look at it and they go, oh, what a great idea. And then I say, so imagine having that on your phone in the supermarket. And you could have a different recipe for 24 nights in a row. Now how good is the value of that? And they say, okay, see it now. So that's why this is a really cool thing. Okay, so that's our saute pan. So am I turning him off now?
Yes, you're turning him off.
Okay.
And you're going to allow him to sit for 5 minutes.
With the lid off? Or
And
on?
just close and remove, just as remove it from the cooktop
Yes.
and allow it to sit for 5 minutes. I'm assuming you will leave the lid on to allow it to just basically cook in its own little juices. So the other great thing about those recipes as well is they also have stock pot recipes
Yes.
on it as well. So it shows the versatility of the pressure cooker, that it's also a 7-litre stock pot
Yes.
as well as a pressure cooker, and yummy recipes to remind people about that as well. So how are we going with our dessert?
We have 3 minutes to go.
Got 3 minutes to go on our dessert.
So I might just put,
Is there anything else you would like to know about, Julia? Or Tennille? Or Tennille? Tennille, you can email us, can you message us?
you can text me.
You can text. Is there a product that you'd like to know more about, Tennille? Send Karen a text. Julia, you don't have to send a text. You can ask.
Is the timer supposed to be counting down for 5 minutes?
No, it stopped.
Okay, turn to
We're
stop.
up 2 minutes to 35 minutes.
So that's also, this is also great too to remind yourself if you're doing things like you've got the hose on and you're filling up the pond outside. To remind yourself to go 5 minutes, go check the hose in the pond so that everything's sort of not overflowing. You know, things like that, really good idea. So there's lots and lots of uses for your timers. I'm also reliably told you can check the temperature of hay bales with it if you live out in the country.
It will also do sugar and toffee and all that kind of stuff. So it's really good for people who do sweets and stuff like that. All right, so I reckon we're good now.
All right, 5, we've done that for 5. Okay, remove lid.
All right, so this is where I'll be talking about these. People need more than one set.
Of course.
Look at him.
Oh, yum. So, rice should be cooked, chicken tender, and broccolini steamed. At least that's what the recipe says.
Of course it will be.
So,
Now,
remove
just
broccolini.
hang on 1 second. You also get this happen. And I say to people, when this happens, don't stress. It's fine. It's meant to happen. Sometimes you get a bit of spitting. It happens a lot with milk dishes, particularly when you're cooking something like this. And I also made, what's the other milky rice thing? Creamed rice. So you get sometimes little bits that spit. It's perfectly fine. Neil wants to eat our chocolate pudding. Right.
Then you can.
Okay, so now we're going to put coriander on the top.
Well, it doesn't actually. Well, no, it says remove broccolini.
Putting coriander on
Plate up chicken and rice. Top with broccolini and coriander. And then drizzle with soy sauce. So that's the Master Chef version. So if you're having guests over, you can do the posh way, which is what the recipe says. If it's just you and the kids, add the coriander and whack it on a plate.
I'm doing this because I actually buy my coriander a lot in bulk because it's the only herb that I can eat, and I freeze it. So this would, so they've written that for fresh coriander. So I have to put it in now, otherwise it won't taste very nice. Okay, that's for your risotto.
Our risotto, and then we put the risotto carrot.
Oh, sorry. Chocolate risotto.
Chocolate risotto. Oh, so you can turn him off.
Beautiful.
What do we need to do with him?
Just leave it there for a minute.
Yep.
So, do I plate this now?
Yes, now that's ready to plate. So if we have plates, we can plate our main meal.
Beautiful. Okay.
Oh, that looks yum.
There we go. You know where the forks leave Wilma.
Yep.
Tennille, you should smell this.
Oh, it smells very yum.
Serve that to Julia.
Here we go, Julia. You're going to try.
Thank you.
I forgot to tell you not to have dinner before you came tonight.
That's all right.
William, you come and give this to Daddy, please. Come and give this to Daddy,
Come and
please.
give this to Daddy.
Yeah, good job.
Now give me that one.
At least I got a hand tuck it.
Yep. I'll put these up over here.
That's it, thank you.
I'm going to step on your head in a minute.
I'll get it for you later.
I can get it.
Okay, so
Alright.
then I talk about, so while you're munching on that, I'll keep going with this, and you have to tell me what it was like. So, then I talk about all the different ways that you can release the pressure. So you can, it says to release the pressure by running cold water on it, so you can absolutely do that. Or you can just let it sit, and after a while, the pressure will come down to it by itself. Or you can turn it this way. Now, what might happen, because it's milky, is, yes, it does smell amazing. So I always put a bowl on the top because it might spit. So what we'll do is release it like this.
That's like a coffee machine.
Yeah, it is. So it might actually get some spits out. So just for the first little bit. And then we'll do that. Is it good? How do you think it is?
Oh, I'm taking it.
This is really, really yum. I would personally, because I'm not a big fan of ginger, put less ginger in it. But again, that's
Oh,
just
that's
a,
it. Good.
but that's a personal taste.
Good.
It's really, really nice. It's lovely.
Good. So then you always know you cannot open the pressure cooker with the little when the little button is up. You can only do it now once it's released. Now you can open it. So then we unlock your pressure cooker. It's pretty good just on its own. Now this is
I've got it.
very milky. Mine didn't come out like this last time.
It does say if there is too much liquid, heat and stir with lid on until liquid
I'm going
is
to do
produced.
So last time I opened the lid, it was more like the consistency of risotto. So I'm just going to reduce it for a little bit. Won't take very long. So Julia, what's your favourite thing to make so far? I know you haven't done very many things, but what's been your favourite recipe that you've looked at?
Probably the risotto. We made leftover risotto, so we got rid of all of the random bits of vegetables
good.
stuff in the fridge.
And that's what I mean about all of our recipes. You can adapt them to however you like and put whatever you like in them.
Nice cheap meal.
Yeah.
Good like that, yeah. Leftovers.
It is really good for all those bits and pieces of veggie that you've got hanging about in your fridge that you can't really do much of anything with on their own.
Yeah.
Whack them into a risotto. You've used them all up.
Ah, this is looking better. This smells pretty good.
This is so yum to Neil. You really should be tasting this.
Poor Tennille.
I know she'll hit me when she says it. That's all right.
It's very good. It's got about a 30-second delay. What's she say?
I've been cyber smacked.
No, she thinks I've forgotten the chocolate. The chocolate goes in a minute now. Here it is. I always am really specific when I talk to hosts and give them the ingredients. This is the best cooking chocolate ever. Ever. It should really be sold in the eating aisle of the supermarket, not in the cooking aisle. It's yum. And I always say to everybody, chocolate is like wine. Don't cook with chocolate that you wouldn't eat. Same as wine. Don't put wine into food that you wouldn't drink, because you're going to end up with it in your belly, right? So don't put it in if you're not going to eat it anyway. Okay, so this hasn't taken very long at all to pick it up. Can you see that, Wilma? See how it's much thicker?
Oh, yes.
So I reckon that looks pretty good.
That looks really good.
So I reckon we could just about add the chocolate.
We can whack some chocolate into that.
So, what does the recipe say now?
200 grams of dark chocolate chopped.
So this is how you do it.
Unless you want to get people to play with the cook test.
Oh, right, they're so nice.
So I've done that at home with carrots, mushrooms. Mushrooms went really well in there. And I'd love to try it with dried mushrooms. Porcini mushrooms would be really good in there. Now just wait until you see what happens.
That would be another great dish for your leftover bits and veggies as well.
Yep.
Because you could add beans into that.
Now just have a look and see what happens with
potatoes,
this.
really everything. Oh, yum. It's going chocolate, Neil.
Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
We need 2 plastic cups.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Would you cover
In the fridge.
They can't see through it. Don't touch it.
I'm just trying.
You can't see through it. Don't touch the tripod.
Right, what? Don't put yourself in it.
That's this.
For me.
That's for the person who needs to go to bed.
Ah.
There we go.
So, do I have some out of the fridge? Some full cream lactose free.
So, what do you think about that?
Ooh, looks good.
Yes.
It's in the, go into the white fridge. Okay. So, that is really fast, that dessert.
Oh, yum.
Julia, you're fine. Leaves in the way.
Oh, that smells awesome.
How good does that smell?
Oh.
Wait.
Yes, you can use any chocolate that you like. And I love to try this with white chocolate. So, because Tennille's just saying, can I use milk chocolate because she doesn't like dark? You could use any chocolate that you like. And I reckon it would still taste really good. Kind of a lady
So
place.
you could even use, they've got all these fancy sorts of chocolates now with different tastes and things through them. You could use just about any of those in there. So maybe not a nut one or something like that, but
that's what it looks like. Can you see that, Tennille?
Ooh. So that almost came out.
Lovely.
Right. Now, it makes a lot. In fact, I think this recipe says that it serves 10. It serves 8.
So, well, I tell you what, that would be 8
Really big bowls.
serves.
Because there's a
You
lot.
would get way more.
Yeah, you may too.
Sorry. So,
Depending, of course, on whether I was eating it or not.
It smells like Cocoa Pops.
Oh, that's what it smells like. It does. Exactly like Cocoa Pops.
which I guess makes sense, rice, chocolate.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So there you have it. It's 2 really, really quick dishes. You can substitute for anything. You could, look, if you didn't have chicken, you could put any meat that you liked in there. You could put prawns in there, and it would work. So,
We're getting up soon.
you know, so what do you think of that?
Oh,
It's really nice.
yeah.
Oh, with Tennille, milk chocolate Tennille would be really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon you could put anything you like in there, and it would work.
And some whipped cream on top.
You could put berries on there, ice cream.
Custard.
Yeah,
You could do just about anything with that, or all of the above.
yeah, anything, and it would still work.
It would.
Yeah, so there you go. So, Tennille, do you have any questions?
Takes about 30 seconds to go through.
All right. Julia, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you haven't decided if you like them or not yet.
The chicken was good though.
Oh, good.
When's
Tennille's coming
Toad?
through the question now. Oh, yes, it is. Tennille says it looks like an extra thick milkshake.
It is. It's like a milkshake, not
Yes.
quite crunchy, but
Yes.
but it is. It's like a warm chocolate milkshake.
It is.
Yeah.
It looks like chocolate risotto.
It seriously does.
Yeah.
It's really good.
But it tastes like.
Tennille says add coconut on the top.
Oh.
Well, I wonder what that will taste.
Everybody agrees.
Yes. That would be nice and coconut sweet a lot.
Yes. Yeah. And I reckon even if you toasted some slivered almonds and put them on the top, that would be really nice too.
A little bit of crunch.
Yeah, yeah. Add some crunch on the top.
Lovely.
Texture. More?
I can understand why you're jealous. You should have cooked along, mate. Tennille's been sick, so that's why she can't.
I love coconut. Coconut. Yeah, yeah.
Lee's having your sleeping now, Tennille, to make you feel better.
Half of that.
But I don't know if it's going to make you feel better or not.
Thank you.
And here's just me. These are crap jokes on.
Okay, it's not show and tell, mate.
Very good. Okay, well, Tennille and everybody else who's out there in Hangout Land, we're going to sign off now. So thank you very much for tuning in. Tennille, I need to talk to you at some point, probably tomorrow. Hopefully my day doesn't go as bad as the last 2. So we'll catch up with you. And until next month, bye-bye for now.
Bye.
See ya.